Okay. I want to get this out of the way and then we can talk some crypto. So this is the third out of 3 streams focused on Vechain as the sponsor. And so I'm going to fulfill my requirements here, and then I just let's dive into everything, So I know that that people are probably just in the pits of despair. And guys, I mean, I'm not going to provide any short-term good news. All right, I've got nothing short-term to be excited about. But here's what I will say: I'm going to make a long-form video. I'm going to make a short-form video. All that. This is the path. I know most of you don't want to hear this right now. This is the path to your making the most returns on your crypto investments over the next 12 to 24 months. I know you don't want to hear that. I have been in a corner of my brain kind of hoping that something like this would happen. Of course, if it's between this or just the big blow off top in the fourth quarter of 2025, of course, my short-term bias would be the big blow off top in the fourth quarter of 2025, but that's not what the market's giving us. But the market is giving us something that involves a better return, a much better return. So you are an absolute idiot. Yeah. Yeah, everyone's an idiot at this time of the year, at this time in the market. Yeah. And of course that's coming from either an Indian or a Middle Eastern guy, because you lost money and now you're angry at somebody else. And let me tell you something. There is a long list of people who you should be angry at more than me. So you're the idiot for making that comment. All right, so let's get this out of the way, guys. Here's the pitch for V World, Vechain. V World connects to over 50 apps in the V Better ecosystem. Users can earn rewards for sustainable actions and other real world participation. V Better links community actions to measurable on-chain results. And Vechain is more than just staking. It is a complete ecosystem with daily utility. I'm going to say the same thing I always say to you guys. This is one of 3 that if I was forced to hold it long term, I would hold it. So could you interact with you're not angry? Yeah, right, man. Yeah, right. Could you do me a favor, interact with the link that I posted in the live stream, and we'll move on to charts. So Mugera is upset. And you were bearish before Bitcoin made a new all-time high in August, September, and October. Then you became a bull. No. All right, I'm gonna have to block you, man. I was bearish earlier. I was bearish going into 2025. And then when I did 2 lines in the sand, which you can actually see. Can you see? This is the Bitcoin weekly chart. Can you see this move right here? There was a point when I drew 2 lines in the sand, and when Bitcoin broke through $95,000, I became a bull. Those were my lines in the sand. Bitcoin broke above $95,000. That's when I became a bull. So you are trying to rewrite history, making me look like something I'm not. I was a bull from then until I drew 2 more lines in the sand. All right, so stop editorializing. You are wrong, and you claim that you're not angry, but you are. So I'm gonna have to. I don't know what to do. Yeah, block user on YouTube. Goodbye. Goodbye. All right. So Middle Easterner is mad at me. Hello, Elias. Hello, everyone on TikTok. Bitcoin just filled the CME gap. Okay, I have a limit order that that is, it's not filled yet. And where do I pull that up here? I have a limit order 91,878. So I did a little higher than that, and I don't think it's filled. So hey, you know what? CME gap. I was looking at a previous line of support from 2024. So that's a limit order just for a scalp. You know, I'm mostly looking to short. So all right. Hello, Daniel. Skits of crypto. Good afternoon, Darlene. We are cooked until the end of the year. Sell, buying later on. Oh yeah. I mean, so what were my two lines in the sand? I mean, the bottom line in the sand recently was the 50-week moving average, $103,000. We are well below that. So crypto's finished the cycle. I mean, I'm still going to talk about crypto. You know, and what do you mean by this cycle? If you're talking about by between now and the 2028 halving, I strongly disagree with you on that. Um, my perspective is very similar to earlier this year, which is, well, no, I'm going to explain that in a YouTube video. I've been saying to you guys over and over again, you know, everyone was saying that 2025 was going to be bullish. 2025 was miserable. So, and now everyone's saying that 2026 is supposed to be the bear market. And as far as I'm concerned, I think 2026 is going to be a much better year than 2025, but we have a little, I wouldn't be surprised if the first quarter of 2026 was a continued move down. So, yeah, what do you think about the next 1 to 3 months for crypto? Down. With now, let me tell you, I think that we're going to go up and back test that, you know, face resistance back up towards the 50-week moving average, maybe the 50-week EMA, 50-week. But like, so I wouldn't be surprised if the next week or two we went back up and got rejected around the 50-week EMA. That's 100,000 or so. So, you know, dead cat bounce, yeah, maybe. 2025 completely sucks. I mean, you're not wrong about that. You know, I mean, if I were to give you, if you remember going into 2025, things are actually they went a lot better than I thought they would go. And I know you guys don't want to hear that, but like, I thought it was going to be way worse than this. I thought Bitcoin was going to be like around $30 to $50,000 right now. When we entered 2026, or sorry, when we entered 2025. Thoughts on Zen privacy narrative and all? So I'm not paying attention to Zen. You know, privacy's been doing really well. I mean, the chart looks decent on the weekly. What's Zcash doing right now? I mean, I still am not of the mindset that I'd be touching Zcash at this moment, but you never know. Monad, I don't know. You guys still want to look at individual charts. I mean, there's a direction that a lot of these are going to go, and it's not a happy direction, unless you're shorting. So Monad looks terrible. I mean, it's another one that just looks really bad, and it's brand new, it looks like. So what's the best long-term holds 1 year plus besides Bitcoin? How about some gold? You know, I really don't know what to say as far as other than Bitcoin. I mean, I'm not selling any of my Bitcoin. All right, so Jamil was right for altcoins and you and Ski were wrong. Jamil, I'm gonna remind you, Jamil predicted that Ethereum was going to peak at $2,700. So bears always look smart at the end. Okay, so you can say that he was right, but at least, you know, when I was hopeful for a bullish fourth quarter, that's where I was wrong. I was hopeful. I was not calling for an alt season. All right. So you want to give me some negative points on that, then knock yourself out, man. I was not excited about this particular quarter being a quarter that you guys were going to make, you know, your multi-millions of dollars off of junk coins. And what I've been saying is that we need the economic environment to be entirely flipped from where it is. So anyway, I guess I'm not going to be able to keep up with all these comments here. You joined the Beat Club, not me. I think CME confirmed my forecast. I mean, what do you want me to say? Todd, that would be great if you're right. For me, the thing that I've been saying for the last several weeks is I had two lines in the sand, and $103,000, the 50-week simple moving average, was my bottom line in the sand, and we lost that in a dramatic way over the last few days. And so now I think that we're going to continue a downtrend, but there's certainly invalidations that I have in mind. So I'm not touching crypto at all. I'm not buying any crypto until we break that downtrend for Bitcoin. And I won't buy the bottom. I will absolutely not buy the bottom, even though I have a limit order that I think is about to get filled. It's within a few dollars of getting filled for a scalp. I'm not going to buy the bottom. I'm going to continue to look to short cryptos, but I'll buy close to the bottom. If you're right, I will buy close to the bottom. So when do you think we are back in bull run for altcoins? Okay, let me give you some thoughts on that. Now, it's going to be an easier viewing experience on YouTube. But yeah, it's everyone's an idiot season. Everyone's an idiot season. So of course, I'm an idiot, and don't shoot the messenger. I don't know what you're saying, what you're messaging Epic Crazy Life. So here's what I think. I mean, I don't think that October of 2026 is going to be the bottom. I think the bottom is going to come in well before then. And what I've been processing is kind of, if you remember earlier this year, I drew two lines in the sand. Those two lines, this was in April, March 2024. We ended up holding them. We held the 50-week moving average. That was the bottom line. The upper line was around $95,000. So when we broke through $95,000, which let me just see how much of a percentage gain that was. We broke through about 95,000 or so. It was a little bit more than $95,000. Bitcoin rallied. This is upside down, but it can still work. Bitcoin rallied over the next several months, over the next 5 months. It had a 25% gain over the next 5 months. I mean, it got close to the 126 level in August, and then it did hit that level in October, and that was the peak. That was very likely the peak for 2025. And so that was 5 months. It took 5 months after that line in the sand was breached for Bitcoin to hit its all-time high. So what I think is going to happen is something very similar, but the opposite direction, where, okay, Bitcoin lost that line in the sand around $103,000, the line that I've been calling for. And so I'm doing this all in real time, and I'm going to make a YouTube video later today talking about it. But I would expect from that $103,000 level, another drop of a similar percentage. I might have messed this up here. Oh, shoot. That's really interesting. Okay. Another drop of about 25% from 103. So let me figure out what that would be. 25% drop from 103 is, that puts us at about $77,500. And so, and let's say it's a similar time frame where it takes 5 months from the losing of that. Okay, so from the losing of that level, 5 months. All right, December, January, February, March, April. So Stephen Taylor says March 2026 bottom. Maybe March. I'm thinking somewhere around April is when Bitcoin's going to bottom around $77,000. And altcoins and Bitcoin dominance is probably not going to go up all that much. And I'm telling you guys, I mean, sentiment towards altcoins is going to be in the absolute gutter if that's where things go. That I think there's going to be an incredible opportunity to make money off altcoins, and everyone's going to be looking at you like you're crazy when you make money off of, if you buy altcoins at that time. So, all right, whales are not going to come in hard until one, all major long liquidity cleared 60K and 2, we are below the average cost basis. All right, so below the average cost basis, let me look up MVRVZ score. What would that MVRVZ score? I mean, you're saying 60,000. I mean, maybe it would go down to 60,000. But MVRVZ score is right. It's still, I mean, it's not super. I mean, it's 1.33. So the level, it's going to be difficult to figure out what that would be. Oh, no, it won't. The average cost basis is the blue line here on the chart. That's a $1.1 trillion market cap. That's around, I think, $55,000. So something like that, I mean, maybe it would be, and that's rising every day, but maybe that's the time to buy when we get under the cost basis, which I could see being around $70,000 in March or April. So what's your opinion on the future with 401ks having crypto added to it? Yeah, there's a stronger DCA happening. So that's the thing. That's the thing that makes me think that it's not going to go as low as people think. That's a thing. All right. Can you say this is a bear market or not yet confirmed? By my definition, this is a bear market. Losing the 50-week moving average on a weekly close is, in my opinion, a bear market. Yeah. But it's not the bear market. We're not talking about waiting until 2028. We're not talking about that at all. We're talking a bear market, and I'm calling for a Bitcoin bottoming out sometime around April. Okay, so I hope you guys understand that. I am very much of the opinion the reason why you guys, I mean, 2025 sucked. That doesn't mean, why are we still of this mindset that 2026 is supposed to be the bear market? I think it's going to start in that direction, but it's not going to go all the way down to where people are aiming for it to go down. So was just telling everyone here not to shoot. Oh, okay. Epic Crazy Life. I see what you're saying on that. Sell my alts. Mike, why don't you, just sell a little bit? I mean, just do something. Just don't hold. Don't hold your entire bag. Okay. Like, you got to de-risk from here. Calvin Hill totally agrees with you. Oh man. I don't know how excited I am about that. I mean, like, listen, Calvin Hill has been just like everyone else, He's been just as wrong as the masses. I've had my moments. I've had some I certainly have not been perfect, but like, how many people were a bear heading into 2025? Not many. And here I was bearish. I was a bear. I was an all-out bear. And crypto did better. So I don't know how excited I am about Calvin Hill agreeing with me. Do you think stocks will have another run up? Yes, I do. Yeah. Are you overall disappointed with this bull market? I mean, of course, the answer to that would be yes. But at the same time, Bitcoin is much higher than I thought it was going to be a year ago. So, I mean, Bitcoin can't really be too disappointed about Bitcoin's performance. Altcoins, oh yeah. This is Crypto Winter Kids. Okay. Win alt season. I believe you're right. Okay. Thanks for the follows, guys. I see some follows there. Most of retail is going to get this wrong. Look at the liquidity injection projection. So what are you referring to? Yeah, UPS, definitely respect what you're saying. Like, what metric are you referring to? Yeah, win alt season. Yeah. Your short call of ICP was perfect. I mean, any short call is perfect, but yes, of course. Yeah, that's all I'm looking for with trading crypto for the most part. Now, I did just enter along on Bitcoin, but I'm looking for random cryptos to pump like ICP, and then I'm looking to short them. So I exited my short on ICP yesterday. Good afternoon, Crowman. We're still above 50 on monthly time frame. On the monthly, I'm assuming we are, but I've never paid attention to monthly for Bitcoin. So, oh shoot, sorry for those on YouTube. This is the chart I was looking at, the MVRVZ score, and you can see the realized market cap is 1.118 trillion, and it is steadily rising. So if you think about that, that's about $55,000 Bitcoin, which is like the average Bitcoin holder. Usually in the bear market, we do spend a little bit of time below where the average Bitcoin holder is in a loss, but that number is rising. So who knows? Maybe in April, which is when I'm calling for the bottom, maybe in April that would be like 65 or $70,000, and we'd spend a very brief time below that realized basis. I really appreciate that comment, Default, by the way. So everyone seems shorting one. Why won't crypto finally go up higher? Because all retail can't be right. Also, much more liquidity higher than lower. I'm calling for Bitcoin to get up to 101 or 102 sometime soon. So yeah, up, but a lower high most likely. Sorry, I can't keep up with all these comments. We got to go against the grain, not with it. Alex, I think we will soar soon. Todd, I hope you're right. You know, and if you are right, I will certainly adjust on a dime. This is not the end. It's not over IMO. Look at last bull markets, many 30+% dips. Sure, man. Tay, listen, I am agnostic. I'm very much agnostic. I hold my opinions very lightly. Historically, when we lose the 50-week moving average, it has been over every time, except here's the best case scenario. If you look at 2019, we lost the 50-week moving average, and then we just hung around a little bit below it for like 6 weeks. And then we went above it, but then the COVID crash came, and then all that liquidity was injected in the market. You know, if the COVID crash never came, it may be that we would have just spent a very brief time below that moving average. So maybe this is a repeat of 2019. And I know some of you are you're like, nah, there's no way, because 2019 was the middle of this, like, you know, middle of the bear market, whatever you want to call it. Whereas right now, this is the quarter that was supposed to happen. But listen, in 2019, Bitcoin peaked like a month and a half before they put an end to quantitative tightening. And here we are in 2025, and Bitcoin peaked on October 6th so far, and then they're ending quantitative tightening on December 1st. Does that sound familiar? And so, okay, Bitcoin spent like 6 weeks or so below the 50-week moving average and then reclaimed it. So there is a parallel here. Now, I would give maybe like a 10% chance of that happening. And then Bitcoin, after 6 weeks or so, hanging around a little bit below the 50-week moving average, that then we're off to the races. But that's a very low percentage. So Christopher Dirksen says it's over, no hopium. No, listen, guys, listen. Write this down. I am declaring this. I am going to be a multi-million with this timeline that's ahead of us. Watch my YouTube video that I published later today. Actually, I'm going to publish it tomorrow morning. But this timeline is the most ideal timeline to buy incredibly low and sell high. The sentiment, the amount of the 4-year cycle bros that are just going to exit this entirely and capitulate and give up at the worst possible time, it's going to create this buying opportunity that is going to be perhaps the best buying opportunity of this decade for altcoins. All right. And I'm going to, when I start buying altcoins, most of you are going to think that I'm absolutely insane and that I'm going to lose my shirt. And I am convinced on this timeline, which is not the ideal timeline for most of you, that within the next 24 months, I'm going to be a multimillionaire, which I've been a paper multimillionaire 2 times in my life. One was with my hee bag that I burned. The other time was when I owned a website that was on paper worth multiple millions of dollars for a very brief period of time. But so I'm not rich by any. I'm not like Calvin Hill or Ty crypto rich. So high confident this is a major fake out. Dave, maybe I don't see it. What platform do you use to short crypto, BitUnix, and their requirements for getting approved for a margin account. I don't know about, so BitUnix is no KYC. It's awesome. So FYI, BitUnix. Privacy coins are doing very well. Can you check out Zira? If it's on TradingView. So let's see. Zira. It is not on TradingView. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be able to look at it. I don't have any info on Monad. ETH to 2,600. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. What's our timeline to buy? I think we're going to bottom out sometime around April. When you think we're back with the bull run in altcoins, I'm saying the bottom is going to be around April. So as far as when the peak's going to be after that, I don't know. 4-year cycle undefeated. Is it? Is it, Jay? I mean, you could say that for Bitcoin. You can definitely say that for Bitcoin. Let me give you some credit on that. Who wants to get educated about? Oh, no thanks, Dave. They have bots built to literally mimic chart patterns that fake out TA. All right, UPS. I don't think I saw. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who they is. Are you talking about the market makers? How's your 10 kids? They're great. Memes are hammered all this year. What about memes? You think they'll come back? Well, let me give you an example. I'm going to buy a ton of He, and I'll buy plenty of meme coins when the time comes. I think they will come back. I mean, because I think there's going to be euphoria between now, between now and the 2028 halving. It could be 2026, could be 2027, could be 2028. I think there's going to be euphoria. And so, I mean, think about this, guys. There is zero doubt, pretty much zero doubt in my mind that he would get to $10 million. Its all-time high is $60 million. So 10 million is nothing. He right now, and I'm not recommending necessarily that you buy he right now, and I hope that you don't, because I want to buy it at $100,000 market cap. I don't think it's going to get that low, but I'd be licking my lips if it got that low. I mean, it's at like a 300 something now. I mean, it's been hammered just like everything else. So 10 million, that's a 30x. Let's say it were to bottom out at 300,000. 10 million is more than the 30x. And I have pretty much zero doubt in my mind that he will get to $10 million in euphoria, but it's probably going to go much higher than that. So yes, I'll be buying a lot of meme coins. What's been said, I think we're bottoming out in April. So, all right. Sorry, I can't keep up. There's a lot of people in this live stream. Local bottom today, Bitcoin hit 91.5. I think it's around this point. If you look at historically, there was a in late 2024 and in early 2025, this level that Bitcoin is at right now, 91,878 is what I have as kind of like a level of support. If you look at late 2024 and early 2025, Bitcoin held that level on like 9 different bounces. It did end up losing that in February, but this is the first bounce off of that level since then. I think that we are going to bounce, but that it's going to be a bounce to a lower high. So a bounce to, I mean, all right, there is a trend line that I'm looking at, 99, 100, maybe it'll wick above, get up to 101, something like that. So something like that. Bitcoin is done. Retail moved to AI and institutions will just manipulate it. Yeah. Okay. You still think ICP isn't a good buy? I shorted ICP. I made some money off of it. I definitely don't think it's a good buy. Oh, wow. Okay. I'm glad I closed my short. I didn't realize it's up 15% today. Oh, I'm stoked that I closed my short. I didn't even know that it bounced today. So maybe ICP would do something where it puts in a lower high. I'll be looking to short ICP again at some point here. So 4-year cycle, dead, look at business cycle. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Yeah. Thoughts on still DCA into Bitcoin? I mean, at this point, I'd wait. I'm not a huge fan of just generally DCAing, buying $200 a month or whatever of Bitcoin. I do have my Gemini credit card that, pays me back 4% at the gas station whenever I fill up my car, my gas tank. So I'll keep DCAing that. I'm not going to sell that. But other than that, no. I'd wait a little bit, but I like the comment about the cost basis. And again, cost basis right now is at $55,000. And if we bottom out in April, that'll probably be like 65 or $75,000. I think around there would be a really good place to get in. Hold it. You want to just, instead of DCAing, just hold on to your USD or USDC, and then buy in a bulk at that point. Would you agree there is a strong line of support for the total crypto market cap at 3 trillion? Let's see. Total 3.07 trillion right now. I'm not seeing that. Well, I can see it's similar to my mindset with Bitcoin, that I think we are due for some kind of a short-term bounce. So you could say that, but I wouldn't say it's super strong. I would just say that there is a level of support at 3 trillion. Yeah. So $100 Sol soon. $100 Solana. I have a limit order. This is 126. It's just for a scalp. I am waiting on that. I'm taking a little bit more risk on that. I usually only do 1 or 2x longs. I'm doing a 3x long. And then my stop loss would be a loss of like $200 or $300. I don't remember exactly how much. That's my level of risk taking with leverage. So 126 is a level that has held, except for in April, we lost that, but it did bounce off it a couple times before then. But that is a level that holds really strong. But then after that, I think we would lose 126. So, also last cycle, you didn't have institutions like MicroStrategy by blah, 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 after Bitcoin dropped 30% from its all-time high. I mean, people were making that argument last cycle, hey, MicroStrategy is buying Bitcoin. How do you feel about Rismus? Think it will do well? Man, it's trying to do well. It's just the market just keeps going straight down. It's like there are more buys than sells of that crypto, but because it's pooled with Solana for liquidity, it just keeps on losing market cap. So I do think that at some point there's going to be a spike and then it's going to be over. I would suggest retaining some exposure because we have no idea what's going to happen this week. Yeah. There is every chance NVIDIA destroys earnings and market data we get is bullish and sentiment flips. Oh yeah, definitely. And I'm definitely not selling right now. Like I said, I'm in a long on Bitcoin and I have a limit order set on a long on Solana. So even though, I don't think this market is the most favorable, right now I'm looking to long. Economy is about to expand. Yes. Economy is about to expand, but so I think that's going to be an easy bounce for stocks. For crypto, I think what's going to happen is that like nobody pays attention to the economy. That's why everyone was so bullish going into 2025. And I was like, no, 2025 is going to suck. So I think the max pain for people with this hive mind of like 2026 is supposed to suck is that we would start out the first quarter of 2026 kind of sucking and people thinking, okay, you know what? I'm just going to buy in October. I'll buy at the bottom in October, November, something like that. And then we bounce in April, and all those people waiting for October are just completely sidelined. So I am absolutely convinced that we are not bottoming out in October and November of next year. Like, anyway, will you tell us when to buy alts? I'll tell you when I am buying alts. I'm not going to tell you when to do anything. That Spurto coin you got involved in was a flop. Yes, everything is a flop. Everything, the timing was terrible. So anyway, MSTR is a scam. Look for early Q3 or late Q2 for Crypto Moon. Maybe. We are in bear market. We are in a bear market, but this bear market is going to look a lot different than what people are calling for, man. I'm telling you. I don't think we get to 55K either. I didn't say 55K, Dave. I said that's where it is right now. Is this a correction or a bear market? Guys, listen, there's a variety of opinions in this live stream. Let me just repeat what I have been calling for these last several weeks, okay? If Bitcoin lost the 50-week moving average, I was going to be a bear, and I was going to be a bear for a shorter period of time than normal bear markets. And that basically means the first quarter of 2026, I'm a bear. After that, I am probably going to be a mega bull. And I'm going to be a moon boy. All right. So I am going to, after the pain of what I think's coming, who knows, but after that first quarter of 2026, I'm going to speak the way that everyone at the end of 2024 was speaking, because finally we may hopefully be at a point where the market conditions are actually favorable to this kind of risk on activity. You didn't want to hear that from me. You know, and I know yes, I was a bull going into this quarter. You want to knock me down for that? I mean, there's somebody calling me, who called me at the beginning of this live stream an absolute idiot. I mean, what I would say is, like, listen, I wasn't calling for alt season. I was calling for an altcoin moment. I was calling for something. And then I was like, you know what? 2026 is going to be way better. So giving new retail and institutional clients the ability to purchase crypto will have a big impact. Okay. All right. Bull markets do not end when fear and doubt is ripe. See you in 5 years. Yeah, right. Yeah, good luck with that. I hear people say that all the time, Buddha. All right. So can this be a pause? Can it be? And I don't necessarily even agree with that statement. Can this be a moment in time that we may not even remember because of, listen, all right. I want you to hear this clearly from me. I believe between now and the next halving, Bitcoin will get up to $300,000. All right, so there's the bull market, and maybe this is a moment in the bull market where we pause and we have a mini bear market. I'm not calling for the bear market. I believe Bitcoin is going over $300,000. People who have been watching my live stream for so long, you guys know I've been saying over and over again that the all-time high for this cycle is closer to the next halving than to the previous one. In other words, that the all-time, I am willing to bet anything that the all-time high for this cycle is after April of 2026. And, if some of you are going to accuse me of kicking the can down the road, absolutely not. I have been saying this for years. Okay, so I'm thoroughly convinced that we're going to have euphoria. I'm thoroughly convinced that even Bitcoin is going to have a blow off top. But I've been saying, like, the stars are not aligned for that. They haven't been aligned for that for 2025. But, I mean, if Bitcoin goes over $300,000 between now and 2028, then there's no way that all of 2026 is just going to be straight down. It's just not happening. And I'm just, all right. Anyway, do we short? We don't short now. We short pumps. I think we're going to start seeing insane liquidity injections happening. Yeah, I agree with you. Everyone says this should follow the business cycle instead of the 4-year Bitcoin halving cycle. So what's your take on the business cycle? Does everyone say that? I think people are saying that now because everything else they were saying failed, but people still don't really pay attention to the business cycle. But I have the chart on my YouTube channel here on my trading view. So here's what the business cycle looks like. I mean, forgive me. Sorry, I can't show you this on TikTok because they'll ban me. But the business cycle bottomed out in 2022 and 2023, and we're waiting. We're waiting for some kind of like for some kind of injection of liquidity. That's what we're waiting for. So, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point we saw manufacturing with a big spike up here and then it peaked. But as far as the timing of that is concerned, I don't know, you know? So, yeah, they're saying now. Yep, yep. There's a world where we get a new all-time high in Q1 if data falls correctly, sentiment flips crazy quick. You're right, Dave. We are in a bear market. Next cycle is going to be insane. Next cycle. So what's the next cycle? If you're saying after the next Bitcoin halving, no. So much, much sooner than that. What bear market mean? Bear market means things go down. Is Epic Chain finished? Epic Chain will have its time when everything else has its time. Have you sold out of your bags? I after that big liquidation event from October 10th, man, that feels like an eternity ago. After that, I set limit orders or I set stop losses on my 4 biggest bags of crypto. And every one of those stop losses hit. That was a few weeks ago. I announced that on X. All right. I know that, not everyone's going to see everything that I say. I sold my XRP at 265, I think it was. I sold my Avalanche at 20 something. I don't remember. I sold my Sui at what was the Sui? I sold that at 2 something. I think 250, around 250. So now Sui's at $1.58. It's like, I sold my Dogecoin, but then I decided, what, I'm just gonna I'm gonna buy some Dogecoin. I could see Doge going back, just doing that an ICP or Zcash kind of thing out of nowhere. I could see that happening. So I'm like, I'm going to have a little Dogecoin. I'm just going to hold it. If I'm wrong, I'm just going to be a bag holder. So be it. So how is he? I haven't been here in a minute. He is just like everything else. He's in the dumps just like everything else. So how much more pain do you think? Listen, there are people on this live stream who are still bullish. Maybe they're right. I think that that the first quarter that this is it's gonna continue to go down until the end of the first quarter of 2021 and bottom out in April. So I have the same with Pepe. Yeah, Pepe. I think. Listen, I mean, I'll buy a lot of Pepe. I'm telling you guys, I'll buy a lot of those Robinhood meme coins when we get closer to the bottom. If we're not there yet. So why can't you show charts? But every other content creator has charts up. Ask TikTok, man. Don't ask me. They're the ones who banned my live stream when I showed charts. So forgive me if you answered this already, but can't find anything. What platform? Yes, BitUnix. That's what I said. I said BitUnix. Are we going to buy a lot of Brett? I could see myself buying some Brett. All right, guys, let me just, guys, again, could you do me a favor? And I just posted a link on the YouTube live stream chat, World War Bitcoin. It's also on X. This live stream is sponsored by Vechain. That is one that I am convinced is going to exist as long as we're alive. Okay. And that it will have its day and it's going to do very well. And so they're sponsoring this live stream. Check out Stargate, click on the link, just give that some interaction so that they'll want to do a long-term partnership with me. And I'll be doing more live streams, So that's it for that. World War Bitcoin on YouTube, WW Bitcoin on X. The halving literally has no more role in price action. 200 billion is a drop compared to market cap. Bitcoin cycle is dead. Look at macro now. UPS, I mean, so if you simply look at Bitcoin's price and say, all right, it peaked on October 6th, a lot of people are going to point to that and be like, yeah, you see, I mean, the Bitcoin 4-year halving cycle. But here's something, and I know GS Dave is going to, no, not GS Dave, Crayon Dave is going to agree with me wholeheartedly on this. I think that Bitcoin would not have hit a new all-time high, or maybe it would have gotten up to like $80,000 if the ETFs were never created. And that would have been a really interesting perspective just for people to have, as far as like, I think a lot more people would understand the significance of liquidity in the business cycle if it wasn't for the ETFs. So, I'm actually kind of agreeing with you. I am agreeing with you. I think it has a lot more to do with liquidity, with the business cycle, with interest rates being lower, with quantitative easing than it does with the 4-year halving. I do think the halving has some effect, but not nearly as much as people give credit for. All right. It's Zeki. Altcoins will bottom in April 2026 and Bitcoin will bottom on October 5th, 2026. Alt and Bitcoin doesn't have to bottom at the same time. You know what? That thought did enter my mind. I don't think I agree with you, but there is history for that. I mean, if you remember in 2022, Ethereum bottomed out in June or July. I don't remember. Sometime June or July, Ethereum bottomed out. And then Bitcoin bottomed out in November of 2022. So what if it's the same thing this time around where, yeah, most altcoins would bottom out in April or May, but Bitcoin continued to go down? That's possible. So your boyski beardless, I wasn't, he called bottom when Bitcoin got to $98,000. I was like, man. And then he did that beard bet at 95. I was like, man, I think you're gonna have to shave your beard. I didn't tell him that, but Tau thoughts. I mean, everything looks dangerous right now, but Tau, I mean, you could call this Wyckoff distribution. Look at that. I mean, you could call this moment it got up to 500 something a UTAD. So I wouldn't be too excited about Tau, even though the Tau chart looks a lot better than a lot of other cryptos. Let's see. Michael Saylor just bought $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. Yeah, cool. How long do you think it will take for exchanges to run out of Bitcoin? I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, they will run out, but maybe 4 years. I think the ETFs raise the floor as well. Yes, Dave. Yep. I was the first to download Vechain. All right. How low do you think he will fall? I mean, it's at a 300 something $1,000 market cap now. I know there's some people who just will never sell. So I don't think it's going to go much lower. I mean, aside from like Solana is probably going to go lower. So like that affects its liquidity. So I wouldn't be surprised if it went under $200,000. I'm telling you guys, please let it go under $200,000. Yes, WW Bitcoin on X. Hello, user 171. I love VeChain. WorldCoin thoughts. They have a lot of dilution to work their way through. You think we're seeing anything in altcoins in 2 months? Nope. April bottom or so. April or so bottom, excuse me. He will be handsome without a beard. Thoughts on Aptos, please? Still a good project? No. It was very telling when their CEO resigned after all of his vesting was released. So I think Aptos, I think a lot of those utility cryptos that launched between, in 2023 or 2024, I think a lot of those are going to zero. I mean, not really zero, but like those are the kind of cryptos that I have no interest in buying. Because it's like by that time, they all knew the game when it came to vesting, those scammy vesting releases and tokenomics. Like all of them have just abysmal tokenomics. So no, thank you. I'm gonna buy ones that existed in 2021 or earlier, and a lot of meme coins because meme coins actually have good tokenomics. When you short a token, do you ever do it through futures token or only margin token? Yeah, isn't it futures? Yeah, so it's futures. That's what I do. I reduced my alt by 60% and shorted Bitcoin. I'm in a long on Bitcoin now. I mean, I entered a long at 91.8 and right now it's 91.4. And I know, okay, I'm down right now, but I do think that there is some support at 91. And so I think what's going to happen next is a lower high being put in. So some kind of a short-term reversal. But anyway, Kronos bullish divergence on daily. All right. Benjamin Cohen thinks Bitcoin will dump to 200-week moving average in 2026, probably around 60 to 70K. That's a very basic thing. The 200-week historically is a phenomenal time to buy Bitcoin. And so he's not saying anything new. The 200-week moving average is when most people are looking to get in. So let me see, where's the 200-week? Here it is. Okay. So the 200-week moving average, that's not really all that terrible. I mean, right now it's at $56,000. So, and it's rising. It's another one that's rising. So let's say, where was it in June or July? August 1st, it was at $50,000. Now it's at 56. So, in April, I'm calling for an April bottom. Let's say that Bitcoin bottoms out in April, like I'm calling for. The 200 week would probably be around $65,000. I can live with that. All right, BitUnix offers futures and margin. Yeah, I do futures. Considering how much memes have fallen since January 2025, do we really see them going down another 50%? Yes, Monster. I'm sorry, but Solana has a long way down to go still. It can go down a lot lower. And I'm just saying for Solana meme coins. So Solana meme coins, half of their liquidity is Solana. So if Solana goes to $50, like if Solana was right now, just went instantly down to $50, all these meme coins would lose like 50% of their market cap. I mean, I don't know exactly if half their liquidity, it wouldn't lose 50%. It would be more like 38% or something like that. Dude is in Benjamin Cohen's in love with the 4-year cycle because that was his biggest L last cycle. I don't trust him. Like the reason why he's saying 4-year cycle is because in 2021 he postured himself as like the voice of everyone else is saying 4-year cycle, but I'm saying extended cycle with limited returns. And then he was an arrogant prick when we peaked in November and people, and he was like, yeah, exactly. I was right. Extended cycles. And then he ended up being proven wrong too. Yeah. 65K sounds about right. Yeah. Why are alts holding up well? Are they? What platform do I use? I use BitUnix for futures, for leverage. Now listen, the thing that's really interesting about all of this is Bitcoin dominance. It's looking a little weak right now. It's actually looking a decent amount weak. So what do we make of that? It's like, man, if we could just even get some kind of a rally, even if it was just a fake out, to some kind of lower high where people are like, oh, are we back on? I think altcoins can do very well. So that's the interesting thing about right now. The dollar is what's volatile. The technology is sound. Buy blue chip tokens. What do you think of 2026? I think the first quarter of 2026 is going to be rough. And then I think we're going to bottom in the early second quarter of 2026. I don't think we're going to bottom in November of 2026. I am very confident of that. I really, guys, the pain for 2026 is going to be people waiting for the end of 2026 to buy. That's where the people who finally, hopefully, are throwing in the towel on this 4-year halving cycle nonsense. They're still of this mindset that 2026 is supposed to be the bear market, and it's going to hurt even more when they realize how much they're missing out. I'm telling you, man, this timeline that we're on, if you have the intestinal fortitude to buy the bottom, and I'm telling you, it's not going to be easy. People are going to look at you like you're crazy. But if you have the ability to buy the bottom, you are going to make insane returns, and you're going to hear me start talking in a way that all the moon boys from 2025, from late 2024 going into 2025, the way they were talking, I am going to start talking that way. It's going to be amazing, but like so few people are going to be willing to buy at that time. Sell everything on that fake out. Oh yeah. If you haven't sold yet, like I wouldn't sell right now. But like I would exit if you haven't exited now, some. I would exit some on what should be a move to a lower high. Do not get sucked into this idea. I mean, I'd want to see it break the downtrend. There's a very clear downtrend, a downtrend line. If it broke that and then back tested it, okay, you know what? Sounds good. What bottom when? You don't mean now. No, definitely not now, Bull. I mean April. Yes. Yeah. Bitcoin is going to zero. When alt season then? I don't know. All I know, listen, all right, people asking for alt season. You guys want alt season. Let me tell you something. This is my opinion. A lot of you are going to disagree with me. I think 2023 was the best year. That if you just bought and held in 2023, you did very well. All right, so 2023 was the best year of the last 4 years. 2025 was the worst because of the expectations. 2024 was rough, okay? I know early 2024 was really exciting. The end of 2024 was exciting, but so many people became bag holders that I would say that 2024 sucked. So 2023 was the best year. All right, here's what you need to hear from me when I'm like, all right, I'm saying bottom. Forget about alt season. Yes, I think there's going to be an alt season, but forget about alt season. What I'm telling you is that there's an opportunity to just make gains. Okay, can you just get out of this mindset that you have to make these 10, 50, 100x gains and just be content with making gains in 2026? At some point, I think early in 2026, second quarter of 2026 is going to be an opportunity to buy that yields gains. And maybe it will be fantastic gains. But like, man, it's all or nothing with alt season. You got to get that out of your brain because like every pump in 2025, you made good money, but then you held. You were a bag holder. And like, I know you don't want to hear this from me. I mean, I sold most of my bag from February to April of 2024. I sold 40% of my bag in December of 2024 because I wasn't stuck in this mindset that we have to have alt season. So anyway, 2022 was the best time to buy. 2022 was a miserable year, Dave. That's what 2023 was a fun year. Permabulls will eventually quit, and the permabulls that stays will be Bitcoin maxis and miss alt season. Yeah, altcoins are going to be so out of flavor that people, I know what the sentiment's going to be. Why in the world would you buy altcoins anymore? They're obviously dead forever, and that's exactly the kind of sentiment that I want to hear. So I will be buying a lot of altcoins at some point in 2026. "2025 was a miserable year. We are bottoming soon." Coach Ty, nothing but love for you. No, I'm not going to say it. Never mind. I don't think we're bottoming. I think we're bottoming. If you want to say soon as in like April, yes, I'm with you. What made ICP pump a week ago? I have no idea. I shorted it, but then I closed my short yesterday. I'm glad I did. I didn't realize it was up so much today. Bro stating the obvious, thinking he's that guy. Oh, user 828. No, let's not. Are you talking to me or are you talking about Ty? I think you're talking about me. No, listen, the amount of hate that I got for not being an all-out bull at the end of 2024. I'm not, you don't get that. Nope. Macro is the game. Ty, I have been saying that for years, man. Come on. Come on. Jam's been saying April 2026 starts a DCA. Hey, we agree 100%. The backpedaling is crazy. Okay, you're done. You are so done. Goodbye. Nope. You're not going to try to, you're going to gaslight me into saying, into thinking that I haven't been saying this stuff. Crypto bastard got his account back. I need to get my account back. What's macro? That's like economics. I bought Sol at 218. I'm so cooked. Yikes. What newer alt projects do you think will be good for next cycle? Like Ondo or Arrow? I'm not super excited about newer ones, but I mean, I do like Ondo. I think Ondo and Arrow do have potential. But like there's a lot of trash in the newer ones. Yep, sold 40%. All right, guys. I'm gonna make some content. So I gotta be done with this live stream. But again, do me a favor, please head on over to YouTube. Check out the V World app. Check out the V World app for Vechain, because this live stream is sponsored by Vechain. And check out Stargate. Click on the link that I just posted on my YouTube live stream, World War Bitcoin. And I posted it on my X account at WWBitcoin. Could you please do that? Because I love Vechain. I think Vechain is going to exist for a very long time, and that it has some actual real world usage. And so fantastic, please. Because they want to, they're measuring this to see if they want to partner with me and Alvarez and Ski and all that. So, okay, I'm going to be done. Have a good one. Vechain's going to zero. No, it's not.